Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or do the unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sunnahfollowers, streaming every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sunnahfollowers.
Ask Sister Laila live. Ask Sister Laila live. Weekly for the show at the hour. Ask Sister Laila live. Ask Sister Laila. Invite your friends and family. Get cozy. Ask Sister Laila.
For this provocative show. Alhamdulillah, this is the show where you can ask me any of your questions about Islam. If there's a question that I cannot answer, don't fret. I know they're doing Tarweeh right now, but I still have Sheikh Morsi on standby, and also we have Dr. Ibrahim Jamali. You see how they do the cabbage patch? They cabbage patch in at the end of that ad to let you guys know that they are also on standby in case I need any of them, if there's a question that I can't answer. And there are some questions that I do just automatically defer to them. Feel free to ask whatever questions you have about Islam. And there are several different ways you can get your question across to me. You can type it on the screen. For those of you who don't know, we are streaming on most all social platforms. We are streaming simultaneously on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Rumble, Odyssey, LinkedIn, Telegram, DLive, Trovo, and Twitch. Okay. And also, guys, you can type in all of those platforms except for Rumble and Odyssey. Rumble and Odyssey, those are the two platforms, the only two platforms that I cannot see your questions on. So if you are listening to me right now on Odyssey, and I do have a few followers on Odyssey, and if you are listening to me on Rumble, I do have a few followers on Rumble. If there's a question that you would like for me to answer, please join the Zoom room. You can join the Zoom room at www.sunnahfollowers.net. Go there, click on Zoom room. It'll bring you directly into my Zoom room. You don't need a password or nothing. Okay. And so you can come there and either type your questions there, or you can get on the mic. And by the way, for everybody else on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn and YouTube, if you would like to use the microphone, you too feel free to join the Zoom room, so that way you can get on the mic and ask your question on the mic. Also, for everybody who does join the Zoom room, I want to remind you that I cannot see your questions, so don't send them to me. Don't private message me. If you have a question and you don't want to use the mic, type it to everyone. And that way I do have several sisters there to help with the load. I have several sisters there who, inshallah, will be able to read your questions to me. Okay. Or like I said, you can get on the mic yourself. So those are the different ways that you can get your questions across to me, or you can call in. And by the way, I do have the phone here with me today. Let me put this up so y'all can see it. The phone number to call. That's the phone in. The call-in number is 862-370-2838. That's the WhatsApp number. That's our call-in number, our WhatsApp number. You can call in. I do have that phone with me. It's an ugly phone, but We're a nonprofit organization. So, you know, poor people can't be beggars, or however, beggars can't be something. I don't know. Whatever the old saying is, y'all get it, you know. So this is the phone. You can call in that number, or you can message me on the Facebook, the WhatsApp group. We do have a WhatsApp group, a Sunnah Followers WhatsApp group. Keep your eye on that WhatsApp group, AWA. If there's a question on the WhatsApp group, let me know. Look at that. She's showing me on the WhatsApp group. Okay? Keep your eye on that WhatsApp group, AY. Okay? Or you can type it on Instagram or whatever. So that's how you can get your questions across to me. And also, for those of you who do call in, I do have operators on standby to take the calls too. So like I said, if you want to call in, you can. I got the phone right here. And also I'm watching on other platforms. So before we get started, how's everybody's Ramadan going? Where is Ifti in here today? How's everybody's Ramadan? We're almost at the end of it. You know, we'll be in the last 10 days soon. How's your Ramadan going? Anybody want to share? Anybody want to share? Come on, I know everybody ain't eating. Come on, somebody get on the mic. Share your Ramadan. Where's my sidekicks?
Ramadan is going well.
Let me hear that baby. That's the baby. How's your Ramadan going?
Good.
It's going pretty good. You've been making you've been making dua to Allah?
No, because I don't know when to do it.
Oh, well, you know, you can talk to Allah anytime you want to. But you've been doing the fast with no. How's your prayers going? What about the prayers?
Good.
Oh, mashallah. You like praying? You like to pray?
Yeah.
It makes you feel protected, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Mashallah. And that's one of the babies. If the babies are having a good Ramadan, I really hope you adults are. Any adults want to share? How's your Ramadan been going? Sabrine?
My mom gives us candy for fasting.
Oh, she gave y'all candy. Mashallah. That's encouragement. Exactly. Your mom's doing good. She's encouraging you to fast. Mashallah. You know, the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, they used to give little gifts to their children too for fasting. They let them play with their toys to take their mind off of it. And they would reward them with a kind word or an extra date if they had it or whatever. You know, mashallah. So your mom's following the sunnah. Alhamdulillah. See? The children find the religion easy. It's only hard for adults. And by the way, let me address this question here that I got on this WhatsApp. A sister, I'm trying to see how I can word this. I want to word this in a way to not, okay. I want you guys to know that faith doesn't happen overnight. And by the way, as I'm talking, any of you who have questions on YouTube or Facebook, y'all can type them on the screen while I address this sister here. So that way to give us time to see your questions. This sister, I want you to understand faith. Just because you convert to Islam, faith doesn't come overnight. That's why the Quran was not revealed in one day. It was revealed over a period of 20-something years because the people's faith had to grow. In the beginning of Islam, Allah, in the beginning of the Prophet Muhammad's mission, he did not start off by telling people what's haram. He started off by calling them to Allah, telling them about Allah, telling them about paradise and stuff like that. You got to soften the people's hearts up. You don't just start off with what you can't do. So faith grows. And as your iman or your belief in Allah grows, that's when we give you more and more and more to digest. But there's one thing I have to address. because there's misconceptions about this. For those Muslims who are weak in their iman, they will look for excuses to get out of doing their obligations. Let me bring it home. Bariatric surgery. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. I mean, I'm sorry, I just got to hit it. I just got to talk about this bariatric surgery.
And by the way, what are you getting a piercing at? Let's talk about it.
Any other questions?
This is gonna be good.
Welcome to Ask Sister Laila Live. There's a misconception that some Muslims have where they think because they had bariatric surgery that they can't fast. Shame for shame for shame. I had bariatric surgery and it wasn't no sleeve. I had gastric bypass, which is the worst one. And back when I had it 12 years ago, people were dying from it. That's how great a surgeon is. They don't even give gastric bypass nowadays unless they have no choice. They'll do the sleeve now. I had my gastric bypass surgery 1 month before Ramadan. When Ramadan came, my Muslim doctor, Dr. Siddiqui, may Allah forgive him of all his sins. Ameen. He said, Laila Nasheeba, Ramadan begins next week. You can fast. In fact, fasting is good for you because your stomach has been shrunk from the surgery. And this is the best opportunity for you to learn how to eat correctly. Because your stomach is only the size of at that point, my stomach was this big, the size of my pinky. Your stomach is not going to take in anything but liquids right now. Anyway, I was on liquids. They start you off on liquids at first. And then you go to yogurt, stuff like that. So he said, fast. And that was a good fast for me. I fasted the entire month of Ramadan. The month after I had bariatric surgery. But now I hear that there's a lot of Muslims having bariatric surgery today, and they're using it as an excuse to not fast. Bariatric surgery is nothing except taking your large intestine, connecting it to where the small intestine is, and vice versa. So that your stomach feels full. That's why I'm never hungry. I still haven't eaten yet. A lot of people say, Sister Laila, why is it that you don't eat? I have to remind myself to eat because I don't get hungry anymore. The gastric bypass does that. Our hunger, we're not hungry anymore because that's what you do. You disconnect the intestines. The one that makes you think you're hungry, you putting it where the other one is. So I'm never hungry. That's why I don't eat until 2 a.m. And so these Muslims that are telling you that you don't have to fast because you have bariatric surgery, they're liars. And those Muslims that are telling you, oh, I had bariatric surgery, I can't fast. Why come you can't? It's the best thing for you because your stomach ain't but this big anyway. So it kind of behooves me as a daya and also as a woman who went through that 12 years ago. For those of you who had bariatric surgery and you used this as your excuse to not fast, guess what? You got to make all these days up. Oh, yeah. Ain't no excuse. You can fool your friends. You can fool the people who don't know, but you cannot fool Allah. You can't fool a bariatric doctor, and you can't fool a person like me who had the surgery. Hello. And I had the worst one, the one that everybody was dying from. And that's sad because all my coworkers died from it. I'm the only one left. SubhanAllah, because I did it the right way. Had a Muslim doctor too. Okay, so I want you guys to know, we got to work on strengthening our iman, strengthening our belief in Allah. Stop looking for ways or excuses to get out of doing our obligations, because you're not fooling nobody but yourself. You're not fooling Allah. We can't trick Allah. We can only deceive ourselves. So bariatric people, you should have been fasting. If you didn't fast, you have to make it up. That's it. And no more side effects. Nothing that's going to interfere with fasting. You got side effects like belching sometimes if you overeat, but nothing painful. There ain't no pain after bariatric surgery. Who told you there was pain after bariatric? What type of surgery they had? Ain't no pain afterwards. You good to go. You go back to work in 6 weeks. That's all that the insurance allows you all for. I was back to work in 6 weeks. I was back taking down 300-pound gins in 6 weeks. Oh, yeah. I work with the gin. I used to take them down, have to drop them to the ground. I was able to drop 300-pound gins 6 weeks after my bariatric surgery. So don't use bariatric surgery as an excuse to get out of fasting, because ain't no pain afterwards. No, none of that. That's done. That's a done deal. You should have been fasting. I've been fasting ever since I had it 12 years ago. Oh, yeah. All right. So I just wanted to talk about that, because a lot of these sisters are using that as an excuse because your iman is weak. Just like pregnant women use that pregnancy as an excuse because your iman is weak. Pregnant women are supposed to fast too, unless you are high risk pregnancy. And we talked about that. I gave you what Ibn Abbas and Aisha said about that. Okay. Okay, I think I have I got a couple of questions here on Zoom, on Facebook. Sister Famay, you want to read them, or you got some other questions there too? Go ahead.
Yeah, let me get this first question on YouTube. It says, on the day of judgment, we will stand before Allah naked and uncircumcised. Please explain what that means.
It means exactly what it says. When Allah raised us up out of our grave, you will come out of your grave with no clothes on. That's the naked part. And the men will not be circumcised. So it means exactly what it says. In other words, we're coming out of the grave just like we came in. We came in the world naked, barefoot, and uncircumcised. And we're coming back in the world the same way. You're going to rise up out that grave. You ain't going to have no clothes on. The men will be how they were when they were born, uncircumcised. And for you sisters who were mutilated, you won't be mutilated anymore. Okay? That's exactly what it means. We'll be in full exposure. That's exactly what it means. Okay? But you won't stay naked. Allah will cover you. He will eventually cover you. If you are a good Muslim, you will be covered in garments. If you were a bad person that's going to hell, you're going to be covered with fire. Oh, yeah. The Kafirs will be covered with fire. The fire will engulf them. Okay? The Muslims, Allah, if you are in good standing with Allah, He'll give you garments to cover you when you stand before Him to be judged. But if you were a bad Muslim, some people will be covered with tar and feathers. Tar and feathers. That's going to be painful for you. Some people covered with fire. Okay? But when you come out the grave, you will be naked, just like you were when you came in this world, except you'll be an adult. Okay? Everybody understand now? Yeah, that's the beauty of Islam. Allah doesn't speak in riddles. Whatever Allah says, He means. That's how you can recognize the truth from falsehood. When people come to you and say a black crow flew in the sky, that means women have to wear black. That's not true. Allah doesn't speak that way. Allah means exactly what he says: naked and uncircumcised and no shoes on, barefoot, naked, uncircumcised. He means exactly that. Everybody understand? Okay, go ahead. Any other questions? Go ahead. Did you have another one in Zoom?
No, there aren't any in Zoom right now.
Okay, yeah, and here's a one here. What's this? Trovo? Go ahead, type it. It's so hard for me to see on Trovo. Yes, everybody, even the jinn. She's asking the same thing, but she said, will the jinn be the same? Yes. The jinn will be barefoot, they will be naked, and they will be uncircumcised too. But you're not going to be concerned with the jinn. You're going to be so afraid when you come out of that ground that you won't even notice the jinn standing next to you. You won't even notice the man next to you. You're going to be concerned with yourself, because that hellfire will be brought forward. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his wife Aisha, yes, we'll all be naked. Yes, we'll all be standing together, but you won't care about the person next to you. All you're going to be thinking about is, what can I do to save myself? The woman will try to sell her children. You can have my kids, take them, just leave me alone. The men will try to sell their wives and sell their property. So we're not going to care about how the jinn look or how the naked person next to us look. You're going to be so scared, so terrified that day. All you're going to think about is myself, myself, myself. Subhanallah, guys. It's a scary thing. That's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to seek refuge in Allah from the punishment of the grave, from the hellfire, and from the day of judgment, for what's going to happen on that day. It's going to be the most scariest thing ever. Yeah. Yes. So don't worry about the jinn. Don't concern yourself with them. Just concern yourself with you. Yes. Another question here. Somebody's asking, will the jinn be in paradise too? Yes. They were created to worship Allah too. Remember, I told you guys the story of Adam alayhi salam. When Allah created Adam and blew his soul in him, that's when Allah created all of us, all of our souls. And he offered us free will. We accepted it. He had offered it to the jinn too before us. The jinn had accepted it. He had offered it to the animals. They refused it. He offered it to the sun and moon. They refused it. The only creations of Allah that accepted free will was mankind and jinn. So that's why we are the only creations of Allah that make our own choices. Animals don't make their own choices in life. They do what Allah programmed them to do. The sun, the moon, the mountains, the birds, the bees, they don't make their own choices. They live on instinct. They do what Allah commanded them to do. Mankind and jinn, we are the only creations of Allah that make choices. That's why we will be the two creations judged on the day of judgment. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Yes. And so, this
one more question about that.
Yes. Go ahead.
A sister wants to know, what is meant by the good jinn stay away from us because that danger to harm us is too big? Why and how would they harm us? Because they are made from fire?
No.
How is that?
The jinn were commanded to stay away from us because they can see us and we cannot see them. They're part of the unseen world. And the jinn like to harass humans. They like to make you afraid of them. Have you guys ever seen the cartoon? A lot of these cartoons were adapted from Islamic teachings. The cartoon, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Casper was a jinn. What did Casper the Friendly Ghost, his other ghosts, they like to scare people. Ghosts are jinns. They like to scare people because we can't see them, but they can see us. So Allah commanded the jinn to stay away from human beings because they have a natural instinct to want to hurt you. They want to scare you. They want to possess you even. So when Allah created Adam, what did Allah say he did? He told Shaitan to stay away from Adam because the temptation to hurt Adam is too great for you. Iblis disobeyed Allah, and his followers to this day disobey him. Yes, they can hurt you. They can do all kinds of things to you if you're weak in faith. The only thing that can save you from them is La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, and truly believing in that. That's why we're supposed to live our lives doing what Allah commands us to do, to protect ourselves from what we cannot see, but what can see us. So it means exactly what Allah says. Stay away because they can hurt you. Allah doesn't speak in riddles. He means everything he says. When Allah says the jinn can hurt you, he means that. It means exactly that. They can physically hurt you. So seek refuge in Allah. Mention Allah's name, that keeps them away. The Prophet Muhammad taught us how to protect ourselves. The jinn, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there is one word that if you say, it'll make any jinn run away. And that word is Allah. They hate to hear that because when you say Allah, it reminds them that they're disobeying him and they run away out of fear. So that's why the Prophet taught us to mention Allah's name as often as we can because that keeps us protected. So Allah doesn't speak in riddles. He means everything he says, guys. He means it exactly as he says it. And he tells us what to do. We just have to obey him. Everybody understand that? And Allah knows best. Okay, next question. Go ahead.
Which type of pet animals are allowed to have at home, or ask the opposite, which ones are we not allowed to have?
You can have any animal you want as a pet except for a dog. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, anyone who has a dog that does not serve the purpose of servicing you, you will lose two mountains worth of blessings each day. And any pets that we do have, we have to take care of them because you are held accountable for how you treated them, whether you fed them, whether you housed them properly. But we cannot have dogs as a pet. Yeah, but other than that, you can have anything you want as a pet. Yes. And Allah knows best.
And the next question is, so we will be brought before Mount Arafat the second time to be questioned about the fitra?
Yes, life is a circle. That's what I tell y'all all the time. Life is a circle. It goes around and around. History just repeats itself. When Allah created Adam, he ran his hand over his back and he created me, you, our souls. And he gathered all the souls together at Mount Arafat. And that's when we testified to La ilaha illallah. On the day of judgment, after we are raised up from out of our graves, the angels will descend upon us and they will drive us to Arafat. Arafat will be the gathering place where we will all be ushered to. So it all ends where it begins. I tell you guys, everything begins and ends with La ilaha illallah. Everything begins and ends as it began. So yes, we will be gathered at Mount Arafat. Yes. Okay, here's a question from Facebook. A dua after saying tashahhud and before salam is yes. You can say that then, or you can make your own supplications too. The prophet encouraged us to seek refuge from the grave and from the Antichrist and the last day after the tashahhud, but you can also say it any other time. In fact, there's another hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever the believer says, "Oh Allah, save me from the hellfire. Oh Allah, save me from the hellfire. Oh Allah, save me from the hellfire," 3 times, the angels too say, "Oh Allah, save him. Oh Allah, save him. Oh Allah, save him." And Allah responds, "So I shall." And every time we say, "Oh Allah, admit me to paradise. Oh Allah, admit me to paradise. Oh Allah, admit me to paradise," 3 times, the angels respond, "Oh Allah, admit him. Oh Allah, admit him. Oh Allah, admit him." And Allah says, "So I shall." Yeah. So you can ask for protection anytime you want to. Okay. If it bothers you, if you're so afraid, which we should fear the day of judgment, ask Allah to spare you. Ask Allah, "Oh Allah, seek refuge in you from what's going to happen on that day." You can say it now when you're doing your Taraweeh prayer or your night prayer before you go to sleep. "Oh Allah, should I die, save me from the punishment of the grave. Oh Allah, save me from what's going to happen on that day." Say it before you go to sleep, and you can say it in whatever language you speak. It doesn't have to be Arabic. One of the things I emphasize, Arabic is not a religion. Arabic is just a language. The only Arabic that you have to recite is Fatiha. You ain't got to learn Arabic other than that. Okay? People make this deen hard. They make the religion hard with all this other stuff that's not necessary. It's all about knowing and understanding your religion. Okay, so you can ask Allah to protect you from the hellfire anytime you want to, protect you from the day of judgment and give you a good ending. You can say that anytime. I say it a lot because I fear death. The one thing I fear Allah. And I fear death after that. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Some people keep birds at home in a specific case, while others see that this as unnatural keeping them. What is the right stance on that? Is it against nature to keep them like that while they could fly in nature?
That's why we have to learn a religion. When we learn Islam and its truthfulness based on what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught, those type of questions would never get asked. There's nothing in Islam. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. If something is haram, there would be a verse that says it. And most things in life, the Prophet Muhammad said, most things in life are lawful. If I were to write a book, if I were to get a notebook, guys, and write down everything that's haram, I wouldn't even have 3 pages. I wouldn't even have 3 pages because most things in our everyday life is lawful. There's nothing in Islam that mentions anything about a bird in a cage or as a pet. You can have whatever bird, whatever pets you want. Keep them caged, keep them uncaged. Who said that? That's somebody's opinion. What the prophet said is any pets that we have, take care of them. That's all. That's all. Take care of them. Feed them. Shelter them. Treat them gently. That's what Islam says. All this other stuff about flying in cages, and I think that that's inhumane. Man's opinion sucks. As Allah says in the Quran, if the world were based on man's opinion, the world would be nothing but chaos. That's why we have to learn our religion from the correct people. And the correct people are those who base their questions, their answers on what Allah and his prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So whoever told you that stuff, tell them where they get that from. What stance? There's no stance. That's man-made. Man comes up with stances. We don't care about man's stances. And whenever somebody tells you something is bad, whenever somebody tells you something is dirty, whenever somebody tells you that you shouldn't do something or you can't do something, they should have the authentic hadith. They should do just like me. The prophet said. They should be able to back it up with the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. If they don't do that, then you just smile and wave goodbye and keep it moving. Okay, the religion is easy and most things are lawful. It ain't that many haram things. I would give you just 3 pages of haram things for us. Just 3. That's it. Yeah. Any other questions? And by the way, guys, this is something too. We're going to be talking about a lot of the new shahadas. I got some feedback from last Friday. Last Friday, I talked about how to recognize bad men, because one of the problems that we are faced with as Muslim women today is you convert to this religion or you just go to a new mosque. You've been Muslim all your life. You go to a mosque, and the first thing that happens is you're greeted by an imam that tells you, oh, welcome. And you tell them, oh, I'm new. I'm trying to find a good community that I can raise my children in, that I can practice my deen in. And the imam smiles and says, okay, well, the first thing you need to do is get married, because marriage is 50% of your deen. Like I told you guys yesterday, if you get that type of greeting, you smile and say, Assalamu alaikum, and walk out the door. Because a lot of these Muslim men are using that hadith out of context. That hadith has nothing to do with marriage. And when the prophet said 50% of your religion, he was talking about the hellfire. What are the 2 main reasons as to why the majority of people in hell are there? He said the majority of the people in hell are there because they couldn't control their tongue. They used to gossip, lie, cheat, backbite, slander. Or they couldn't control their private parts. They had sex out of wedlock. So those are the number 2 reasons why most people are punished in hell. He said when you get married, that takes care of the private part. So all you got to focus on is the second one, the tongue. That's what that hadith is saying. That hadith is not telling you that if you get married, Allah is going to send 50% of the knowledge of Islam to you. That is not what that hadith means. That hadith has nothing to do with knowledge of the religion. That hadith has nothing to do with anything. In fact, an imam should never use that hadith with any woman. Okay, that hadith is used for a person that backbites. That hadith is used for a woman or a man who is having sex out of wedlock. That hadith should never be presented to new shahadas. Because the first thing that an imam should tell you, if you're a new shahada, you come to the mosque and you say, what's the first thing I should do? He should tell you, learn how to pray. And what he should do is introduce you to a woman in the community that can help you as a Muslim woman learn how to pray and dress. Marriage is the last thing. Should never come up. Should not even come up. So you sisters run away from that. And we talked about other signs too. We talked about other signs too to look for. And today what I'm going to do is piggyback on a few of those signs. Let me, y'all can type your questions and I'll get back to them, but I want to share these signs with the new Muslim women who are watching, because this is a big problem here, especially in the West, in America. And let me put this up. Yeah, we got some more signs to look for. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to take this off. Yeah. This sister, we're looking at what sister's texting me on Trovo. Yeah. She said, Layla, are you going to show that? Yeah, I'm going to show it. Okay, hold on. Did y'all see my advertisement I put out yesterday? Take a look at this one. Y'all like? She said, MIA. That's what she wants to know. What do you mean, Sister Layla, when you said one of the signs of a scrub is they go missing? MIA, missing in action. I'm going to talk about that because I was up last night talking to one of the sisters and we were cracking up about that. Let me put this PowerPoint up. So let me share my screen for y'all so y'all can see this. Yeah, it's humorous, but it's true. Humorous, but true. Okay, so let me go to YouTube, Facebook first. Hold on, Facebook. Oh, wait a minute. Let me put this up so y'all can look at that. Look at that beautiful background for a minute. Okay, she got me laughing. Yeah, I'm getting ready to show it, sister. Just give me a second. All right, hold on. She wants to see this MIA. Y'all, this website, y'all don't know, y'all crack me up. I'm telling y'all, this has been a good Ramadan for me because y'all done kept me laughing all Ramadan. Okay, here we go. Look at my little PowerPoint I put together, y'all. Here we go. Signs of a scrub, part 2. Y'all ready? Mina, you here? Geechee, everybody here for the signs of the scrub?
Be here.
Okay, let's go. Here's one we talked about. Now, I went into a little bit of detail about this. I told y'all he ain't got a car. Well, guess what? He ain't even got a driver's license. Not only does he not have a car, he might have a state ID so he can get that welfare check, but he ain't got no license. And he'll tell you, you'll say, brother, man, why come you don't have a license? It was suspended. Well, he'll say, can I borrow your car, sister? You know, since we get talking about getting married, can I borrow your car? And you'll say, well, why come you don't take the bus? Or, you know, he thinks he's too good to catch the bus. So he'll sit there begging to use your car. He want to drive your Lexus, drive your Toyota, drive your SUV. Subhanallah, where you need to tell him to get lost. Tell him, no, you cannot borrow my ride. And no, I'm not going to drive you around either. Take the bus and keep it moving, dude. So I'm telling y'all, that's really important. That should be the first giveaway of a scrub. Because like we talked about last week, every man, what does a man do when he get his check? Well, the first thing a man is going to do is buy a car. He going to get a car. This dude ain't got no car, no driver's license, but wants you to take him around? Or can I borrow your car? Y'all remember Baby Boy, that movie Baby Boy? He was always driving Yvette's car. Yvette, can I use your car? Yvette, he was a scrub. Tell him to get lost. And again, I told y'all, he ain't got no home. This is how Brother Man look. Brother Man, he got that thobe on, got that beard glistening and wearing all that musk oil. He might even be an imam. He'll call himself an imam, but all he is a hood imam. He lives in the mosque. He ain't got no home. And he doesn't even have a known address. And guess what? We talked about it. He ain't even got a phone number because he uses those Obama phones. He tell you, ask him, well, where are you at? If you ain't at the mosque, where are you at? He'll tell you that he stays on one side of town with his people. I'm with my peeps. But he also crashes on the other side of town from time to time with the brothers. So he has no real place to live except the mosque. No phone number either. He's basically homeless. And he just shows up whenever he feels like it. This type of loser will let you know that if you marry him, baby, I'm going to move in with you. And the reason why we just going to move in and live in your place is because I want you to be comfortable with me. They'll tell you that the reason that they won't look for a place for y'all to live, but instead he'll move in with you because he wants you to feel comfortable. Lock your doors. No way, Jose. Take your dhicker beads, take your turban, your gutra, your thobe, right on back to the mosque. That's the residence. And that's how they look usually. All pious, sanctimonious. And here's the big one. If you do succumb to these losers and give them the time of day, and you go into talking with him through your guardian, all of a sudden, he goes missing in action. He starts off promising you the world if you marry him. And he will make you feel like you're the most important woman on earth. And then he will disappear on you for days on end without a phone call. And remember, you can't call him because he ain't got no phone. He just disappeared. Brother Man just went missing for a week or two. And when he does finally contact you, he acts like everything's good, but he gives you no excuse for his disappearing act. Why? Why? Because he was probably staying at his other girl, known as Wifey's house. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it. Scrubs usually have 2, 3, or 4. Hello. They usually got a wife or 2 or 3. These are your gammy brothers trying to keep it secret, trying to keep it on the down low. That's why he goes missing in action, the disappearing act, because he's with wifey number 1 or wifey number 2 or wifey number 3. And he ain't got a phone. He don't want a phone because he don't want to get caught up in it. Hello, sisters. Pay attention. To be honest, guys, all the scrub got to offer is sex. I'm going to keep it real. Take the kids away because a girl got to keep it real. Let me tell you, sisters, scrubs can usually put it down in the bedroom. Why? Well, since they ain't got no job, they got at least 8 hours a day to perfect their stroke. He may have at least one of his wives on welfare so he can get her health care card. And the fact that all his wives got stair-step babies, that tells you that practice makes perfect. So sex is the only thing that a scrub can bring to the table. And like we said last week, they're usually fine. They're usually the best looking men in the mosque. And women who are getting their backs blown out, they realize that this is all he got going. So they try to justify this and try to find something good about him to justify staying with him when everybody else is asking her, why you with this loser? But they can't find nothing. It's like looking for treasure in a trash can. So those are the other signs. And I had to keep it real. I had to get a little graphic. But you know, the Tao is real. We got to get real with these new sisters. All he got is that. That's all he got is that back-breaking stuff. And when you find out he got all them other wives, look at all the little step children. He done perfected his stroke. That's all he do. Keep it moving with that. So what do y'all think? What's the feedback?
Nothing but facts. You speaking nothing but facts.
Yep, that's all they can do. And they will mesmerize you with that stroke that they perfected to make it hard for you to let them go. And they find curly haired Somalis, the curly haired Somali men. But I'm going to tell you something. African men take care of their wives. So that picture gave me a curly-headed Somali man. I'm just going to keep it real, sister. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. The scrubs are usually in the African-American community. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. But we got some Arab scrubs too. They come to this country. They come to America. Coming to America, like Wesley Snipes said, doing a little jungle dance, you know, looking for a home because they ain't got no home where they came from. They didn't have no money where they came from. They were the scrubs of their society. So now they looking to mooch off of you. But they done found 3 or 4 other women to mooch off of too, while they perfect their stroke. Hello. Beware of the scrub. What y'all got to say? What y'all got to say? New sisters.
They also look for green cards.
Oh, yeah. The Arab men are looking for the green card. And the foreign men.
As I must think, especially Sister Laila, our African men.
Oh, yeah. They coming to America. They coming to use that green card. And I'm going to tell you something. We're going to talk about that. Let me tell you what the African men are doing. The African men got a little bit more class, though. They go after older women. That's going to be our topic next week. The men from Africa, from Ghana, the Somali, and all of that, they don't waste their time with the young women. They're the ones looking for older sisters like me, older sisters in their 50s, 60s, 70s, so they can bewitch them with their charm and get over here to America, get that green card from them. We're going to talk about that. But a lot of those brothers end up finding out that, hey, playing with an old woman ain't the same as playing with a young one. Sometimes they succeed, but oftentimes they don't, because the older women don't settle for what the younger women are settled for. The older women don't need what the younger women need. The older women don't need your time. The older women don't need your money. Okay? And so it ends up backfiring a lot of times. But yeah, the African brothers, y'all got to look out for. They prey upon the older women. They're the ones on Facebook blowing up your cell phone because they found your profile. And they got these beautiful accents. You know, Stella got her groove on. They got these beautiful accents, you know, and they handsome, the pretty white teeth, the curly hair like the Somalis. And all they want is that green card from you because it's too bad where they live. They don't have money. Okay? Yeah, subhanAllah. Any other comments on that?
most of them too at the same time prey on the younger ones too. Some of these younger girls more so. And then if they prey on the older ones, that's because the older ones have low self-esteem and they ain't really got nothing going on with themselves. As far as, and they can get in their head and make them seem like they super duper, oh girl, you banging and this, whatever. And then let me borrow this. Let me do this. Let me do this. So it's all about self-esteem.
That's the whole key. The whole key to all of us as women. Like I told you guys, life is a circle. Life is a circle. History repeats itself. Back in the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's time, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th century, this was the dark ages. Women didn't have any rights. Women were viewed as nothing but chattel. A woman was married for her family stature, not for herself. You know, that's why Khadija, radiallahu anha, Khadija was a wealthy woman. She was a beautiful woman. She was the daughter of Khuwaylid. When her second husband was killed in battle, she stayed single. She had offers of marriage from other men, but she refused them all because she refused to marry a scrub. She refused to allow a man to marry her for her value, for what she represented, to use her family prestige to excel themselves. And we're back in that. That was the 6th century. Now here it is, 2024. It's the same thing. If women don't have high respect for themselves, if women don't have a sense of high self-esteem, you will fall victim to a scrub. Khadija refused because she had self-esteem. Sauda refused. Habiba refused. They all had high self-esteem because in the 6th century, you had no choice because only the strong survived. If you were a weak woman, you didn't survive back then. They prostitute you or kill you if you weren't strong, if you didn't know how to work it. Like Cleopatra. Y'all know the true story of Cleopatra. First of all, she was not an Egyptian. She was Mesopotamian. She was not even beautiful. They said Cleopatra was not a beautiful woman to look at. She had an extra large nose. She was extremely short and she was very petite. That's how she was able to be wrapped up in a carpet. She was real skinny and real short, and she had an extra large nose, which is what Greek women had. Greek women had big noses, still do. So they said she was not attractive to look at all, but she had charisma and she was super, super intelligent. This woman was very crafty. This woman was very witty. She was also an expert in poison. Like I told you, back in those days, the women that they did keep alive were either trained to fight, to defend themselves, or they became masters of poison. Cleopatra was a master of poison, okay? So she knew how to survive. It wasn't because of her looks, because she was not attractive at all, but it was her wit, her craftiness, her deviousness that caused her to become who she became. Okay, so women and life is a circle. We're back to that now. If you sisters don't have self-esteem, if you sisters don't work your brain, you can get suckered up by these men who talk a good game and go missing on you. You ain't heard from him in 2-3 weeks. How many of us been there? Let me raise my hand. I've been there. Brother supposed to be all that in a bag of chips, and I ain't heard from you in a month. Where you been? Hello? You used to talk to me every day. Used to text me and call me 5 times a day. Now I'm lucky to hear from you a month. That tell you right there, Brother Maine got 2, 3, 4. He's missing in action out the door. Or he got 2, 3 And he promising you that you gonna be number 4, but he got 2 or 3 other women that he talking to. That's another problem too, sisters. These brothers will go into a contract with you, a verbal contract to marry you, but they also got a verbal contract with 10 other women. So he's missing in action because he's with them other 10 women that he done went into a verbal contract with. How many of you been in that? Raise your hand. These brothers, you got to stay. I mean, they think that, and the thing is, they think they smart. You got to be careful. Life is a circle, sisters. That's why I tell y'all, you have to love yourself. When y'all hear me say love, don't love nobody, that's what I mean. You got to love yourself, because love don't love nobody. That brother can be promising that he gonna marry you, and he got 10 other women in different parts of the world, in different parts of the city that he promising to marry to. You ain't heard from him in a month because he's with that sister over there that he told he was gonna marry. Then he come back. Where you been, Aki? Oh, it's good. Everything's good. We cool, baby. It's still about you and me. We gonna get married. We gonna get married. When you getting married? I'm still waiting. How many of y'all been there? That's the reality. That's a scrub. Yeah. Any comments? And by the way, if there's any other questions, go ahead and ask them too. They got questions in there?
There's one question here. Can you elaborate, please, on can the dead in the grave hear us, although they won't be able to answer, not only on the day of the funeral in general?
The Allah answers that question in 2 verses of the Quran. Allah says in the interpretation, the meaning, you cannot make the dead hear you when they are in their graves. So there's your answer. Allah says you cannot make the dead hear you when they are in their graves. So this is why it's a form of shirk. This is a form of disbelief to go to the graves and talk to people. You're denying what Allah said. Allah says you cannot make the dead hear you. So now you're saying Allah is a liar? So you're sitting at the grave talking to your dead relative? This is association, and this is disbelief. Like I tell you guys, Allah means what he says. He doesn't speak in riddles. He said it, not me. He said it. You cannot make the dead hear you in their graves. That's it. There's your dalil. And you ain't got to speak Arabic to be able to read that in English. It means exactly what it says in English. Okay? Yeah, a lot of these questions like this are just basic Aqidah. That's why I'm telling you guys, after Ramadan, I want the new shahadas to continue to join, because after Ramadan, I'm going to go back to my series, Diluting Wella Well Better. And we'll be talking about this, the dead in the grave and all of that stuff. We'll be continuing with basic Aqidah. We're going to be talking about that. And also in the class I teach on the belief in Allah, that's on Mondays and Wednesdays, we're going to be talking about the grave too. Yeah. But no, the dead cannot hear you. They're not even a part of this world. The dead are not a part of this world anymore. They're in another world. They're not even, I'm going to be honest, the dead are not thinking about you or me. They're too busy trying to get out of whatever they're in. Either they are in the hellfire being punished for their sins, and that's where most of the people are. There are more people in hell than paradise. Most dead people are in the hellfire. So they ain't thinking about you or me. They in that hellfire begging Allah to take them out. Or if they were good Muslims, they're in the green birds flying around the throne of Allah. And they ain't, that's another world. They're enjoying being around the throne of Allah. So the dead are not even a part of this world. You know, so, and even if a dead person wanted to come back to this world, they couldn't, because that's what El Barzakh is. It's a barrier. That's why I tell y'all, learn the meaning of those words in English. El Barzakh means a barrier. It's a barrier that prevents people from entering from that world to this world, from hearing that world, this world, and all of that. And Allah knows best. Okay.
I have a quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
So, for the prophets who didn't have like relatives that were also prophets, did they also have to like take a shahada to Allah, or they were just like automatically like Muslims didn't have to do the shahada or anything?
No. No. First of all, what is the shahada? The shahada is simply saying, I believe in Allah, that you are the only deity worthy of worship, and I submit to you. When Allah chose the prophets, first of all, none of the prophets worshiped idols. None of the prophets were idol worshipers. None of the prophets believed in anything but Allah. All the prophets believed in Allah alone. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never worshiped the idols of the Quraysh. That's why he used to go to the cave to be alone. Just like Khadijah, she never worshiped those idols either. Neither did Abu Bakr. Neither did Umar did. Neither did Abu Bakr. Some of the companions, they never worshiped an idol. Okay, they always believed in Allah. Moses believed in Allah. He never worshiped the idols. Solomon always believed in Allah. Adam believed in Allah. All the prophets believed in Allah. So what is there to testify to? They already believed in him. The shahada is what we do, what this nation does. This nation, people who come into Islam because they worship something other than Allah, they're the ones that have to give the pledge of allegiance. The shahada is the pledge of allegiance. I'm pledging that my allegiance is to you, Allah, and my allegiance is to the Prophet Muhammad, and my allegiance is to the religion of Islam. That's something that non-Muslims do today to convert upon Islam. But all the prophets of Allah believed in him. So what was there to testify to? They already testified to him. They never disassociated from him. That's why they were prophets. That's why Allah chose them. Allah chose the best of mankind. The prophets were the best human beings ever created. And none of them believed in anything except Allah. So they had nothing to testify to. It's us who come from a different way of life that have to testify and give a pledge. The companions, when the Quraysh embraced Islam, they gave their pledge of allegiance. The pledge of allegiance is the testimony of faith, where you are saying, I pledge to you, O Muhammad, that I will worship no one but Allah, and that my allegiance will be to Allah, to you, and to the cause of Islam. That's the shahada. That's the testimony of faith. That's what we are pledging when we convert, when people convert to Islam. For those of us who were born into this way of life, you know, we don't have to pledge because we were raised upon it. But we do renew our pledge every time we recite the Tashahhud. Because in the Tashahhud, you are renewing your pledge. You're saying, I pledge my allegiance to Allah and to the messenger of Allah. So we pledge our allegiance every time we recite the Tashahhud. That's all that Shahada is, a pledge of allegiance. But not to America, to Allah and the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? Yeah, any other questions on that?
The next question is, as you break your fast, do you eat something to break it, then pray Maghrib, then have iftar, or have iftar and then Maghrib?
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, eat first and then break your fast. Because if you don't eat something first, all you're going to do is be thinking about, how you want to eat. So it's best to, if you're going to the mosque, break your fast with a date or something, or eat something to break your fast, and then make your salat, and then y'all usually eat afterwards, right? Yeah. Or if you that hungry, you can eat your food first and then make maghrib. Some people claim to be so hungry. I want that chicken now. So go ahead and eat your dinner now and then make maghrib, as long as you got time. Remember, guys, every prayer ends at the beginning of the next. So Allah gives you a whole hour and a half to make maghrib. So if you want to eat first, go ahead and eat. Sit down and eat your chicken and rice and whatever, and then go make salat afterwards, as long as there's time. You have until the adhan for Isha to pray maghrib. Everybody understand that? I get that question a lot too, and that's a good question. If you want to eat first, eat first. If it's going to take away from your it's going to distract you, eat. Let the kids eat first. And then when they finish eating, let them go and pray. Y'all pray together then. So that way they're not sitting there thinking about the food. And Allah knows best. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Go ahead. Yes, the sister here is typing. She said, Sister Laila, that happened to me, the missing in action. She said, I was trying to figure out why this brother. She said, this brother that was interested in marrying me, he went through my wali. Everything seemed to be fine, but he would disappear. We wouldn't hear from him for a week or two. She said, then we found out that he had another wife. And he didn't tell me. She said, does he have to tell me? Now, this is a good question. I'm glad you asked that question, Sister. What's your name? Amira? Sister Amira. I get this question a lot. Does a man have to tell his wife that he's married to another woman? I'm going to give you the correct answer based on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The answer is no. If your husband believes that telling you that he has married another woman is going to cause you grief to the point where it jeopardizes his marriage to you and those children, he doesn't have to tell you. But does he have to tell the woman he is marrying that he has another wife? The answer is yes. Y'all see that? He doesn't have to tell his wife that he's marrying another woman if it's going to cause problems, because the marriage is everything. But he has to tell you. A man cannot marry you, making you believe that he has no other wife. If he's got 2 or 3, he's got to let you know. He's got to come and say, Sister Laila, or tell your guardian, I want to marry Sister Laila. And I got 3 wives, Aki. Let her know I got 3 wives. I want her to be the 4th, and I can provide for her. I can maintain her. I can do this. He can't hide it from the woman he's marrying, but he can keep it from the other wives if it's going to cause a problem for them. Y'all understand that? Can my husband marry me and tell me that he has other wives, but because I live in another city, the people here know, but the people back home don't know? Yes, he can do that too. You sisters have to face the reality. We don't believe in those secret marriages. It's not a secret if the people where you live know you married. He can keep it secret from his wife if she's in a different country or if she's in a different state, if it's going to keep his marriage together. Y'all understand? But if he's married to you and you in a different country or you in a different state and the people there know, he ain't keeping you no secret. So you sisters have to deal with that too. If the man tells you, I got 2 wives, you will be my 3rd, but you live in North Carolina. My other wives live in New York. I'm going to keep it from my other wives because I don't need to deal with the drama. Because it's going to do is be drama. So it ain't no drama because it's just you and me here. I'll go to the mosque here. Everybody here knows that you my wife. But if you asking me to tell my other wives about you, I ain't doing that. And he don't have to. Do you sisters understand? You cannot say to your husband, I want you to go to your other wives and let them know about me. He ain't got to let them know nothing about you. Long as you know and the people where you live know, shut up. Keep it moving. What goes on with them other wives ain't none of your concern. You ain't no secret because everybody where you know that you his. He's protecting his families from the other women that's too weak to handle it. Hello. Do you women understand that? Don't call yourself a secret marriage when you're not. This is a problem with the sisters. I'm going to keep it real. A lot of you sisters complain that your husband's got you in a secret marriage when you ain't in no secret marriage. He's just keeping you away from his other wife, which he should do. That shows he's a good man. Because a good man don't want to hurt nobody. So rather than hurt her, I'm keeping you away from her. And I don't want to hurt you by letting you go around her, and I got to choose. So you sisters got to stop calling yourselves secret marriages when you ain't. Everybody where you live know that you married to him. They all know you his boo. But you want him to parade you around his other wife. He ain't got to do that. He's a good man for not doing it. He's kind. He's considerate. The Prophet Muhammad didn't flaunt people either. He didn't flaunt his servants. He made a little mistake with Maria one time, and he paid for that one-time mistake. Okay? Men are not perfect. But you sisters got to stop calling yourselves a secret marriage when you ain't. He ain't got to parade you around his other wives. Why would you want that? Who you think you are, Cleopatra? Stay in your place. You women got it? Oh, yeah. Layla's an expert at polygamy. I'm an expert at gammy because I've always liked it. I prefer it. Oh, yeah. Any questions about that? Y'all understand that? Seriously, do the sisters understand that? Questions about it? Let's hear it, Mina, or in the Zoom room.
The question is, what about the children? Should he let the kids know they have brother or sister?
Don't worry about that. You women take that pity patty out. He'll deal with that when it's time. The children will find out when it's time. That ain't none of your business. All you concern yourself with is you and him because you ain't held accountable for his other children. The only children you held accountable for is the ones that came out of you that's by him. So don't worry about the other ones. That ain't none of your business. They'll find out eventually. Children ain't stupid, and children can handle things. We women are stupid, and we women can't handle emotions. So don't worry about the kids. Yeah, he'll tell them eventually. He might wait till they're 12 years old, but he'll tell them eventually. That's his decision. not yours. Long as you are acknowledged where you are, then what goes on where his other wives is ain't none of your business. None of your concern, and not even they cheering are your concern. Hello, polygamy expert, bring it on. Keep it real. Now y'all see why I'm single? Men can't handle me. They say this sister know how to do gammy better than a man do. That's right. And I ain't got a problem with gammy. Bring it. I'd rather be number 4. And I don't care about all your kids and cheering and wives. I don't care. I'm here. They keep them over there. Hello, bro. That's why I can't get a husband. Because they can't make me crazy like them other women are. Because I know I can do it better than them. Hello. Bring it. Jamal.
I heard this imam say, well, eventually his other wife gonna find out anyway. Eventually.
They probably will, but that's his problem. That's the deal. That's his problem. It ain't your problem as a wife.
That's right.
Who cares? That's his problem. He's the man. He got to deal with that, not you. That's his problem.
It's complete and clean.
That's right. That's why I prefer live in a different country. Keep your wives over there. I'm here. Keep in a different state. I don't care. Long as the people here know that I'm yours. I don't care. What you tell them, that's your business. That's your problem. That's your life. Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. C'est la vie. C'est la vie. Keep it moving.
So I have a question.
Yes.
I was in a situation where it was his wish to gather together at certain points and wanted us to have, me and my co-wife, relationship. It wasn't always good. And so I don't think, other than, and he couldn't keep their business to himself. So it was a lot of problems because our relationship, the sister and I, we often had trouble.
That's a bad man. That's a man that shouldn't have been doing polygamy, because the Prophet Muhammad never tried to keep his wives friends. If his wives couldn't be friends, what man on this earth think that he could outdo the Prophet Muhammad? And that's not the point. That's a brother that's caught up in LDS. That's a brother that watches too much sister wife TV. We are not Mormons. We are not sister wives. We don't live together. We're not friends. There's no way that two women can be friends when they're sharing the same man, because Allah didn't make us that way. We have jealousy. Even me. Oh, I'm the polygamy queen. I can handle it, but I'm a jealous woman. That's why I prefer she stay in a different state. She stay in a different country. I don't want to see her, because when I love deep. And if I see her, I might want to scratch her face off, because that's just how I am. I'm jealous. You man. Remember, I'm wolf woman. I'm a she-wolf. I'm yours. You man. Keep her away from me. Okay? I like to cheer it, but keep her away from me. Okay? No two women can be friends when they're sharing the same man. So any man that tries to put you in that situation, you say no to it, because it ain't normal. That goes against the human nature of a woman. The Prophet's wives didn't live together. The Prophet's wives were not friends. The Prophet's wives were not sister wives. None of that crap. They used to fight. They used to argue. They would even get physical sometimes. So any man that comes to you telling you he wants you to be friends, you tell him, brother, you got a mental problem. You a scrub a dub. Keep it moving. Remember, the scrub got some sick vices too. We talked about that last week. The scrub man might have a sick vice. Maybe he's an exhibitionist. Maybe he's looking for a threesome. Maybe he's looking for some filth, some backdoor action. Any man that comes to you expecting you to be friends with his other wives got a problem. You run, because that ain't normal. Allah didn't create us that way. Women are jealous, even me. I am extremely jealous of anybody being with my man. He man. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see no woman sitting up touching my dude. You crazy? That's mine. And I'm his. That's against our nature as women. Okay, y'all understand that? So that's a sick situation, Samira. I wouldn't do polygamy. If a man came to Laila Nasheeba saying, I want you to be my wife, you know I got 2, 3 other wives and I want y'all to be friends, I say, brother, you done lost your mind. You better bounce back into whatever scrub hole you came out of. Because ain't nothing happening here. Bye. Next. What Ariana Grande say? Next. Offers come and go. Next. Seriously. What y'all think?
Is that why the Quran said one is best?
Yeah, one is best.
No?
Oh yeah, one is best. The Arab women got the market on that. You go to Dubai, you'd be surprised how many Muslim men just got one wife. Them brothers over there in the Emirates ain't walking around with no 2, 3, 4. They got that one. One is enough. I can't have no 3 Laylas. Can you see 3 Laylas? 4 Laylas? 2 Laylas? Oh, heck no. Look at the Prophet Muhammad, all them strong women he had. Look at them strong women. He had all his wives were strong, aggressive, outspoken, warrior women. Lord have mercy. I don't know how the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam dealt with him. On his deathbed, he was sitting there dealing with them, arguing. He's sitting there dying, getting ready to meet his Lord, and they still harassing Sophia. And he went into a unconscious and came out and said, leave her alone. You know, even when he was dying, his wives were bickering. That's how strong and jealous and outspoken them women were. How he handled them. Can you imagine, man, with 2 of me? Oh, God. I couldn't see 2 of me. I can't even get along with my mother and my daughter. And they just like me, my mother and daughter. We fight. Jayla. Y'all see how I fight with my granddaughter, Jayla? Jayla's a lot like me. I can't even get along with my family. You know, subhanAllah. Yeah, but I want you sisters to understand that, because too many of you sisters are saying that y'all in secret marriages when y'all are not. Just because he's not parading you around his other wives. Why would you want that? You ain't Cleopatra. Sit down somewhere and be happy that you got a good man who's trying to protect you, because them other wives of his might be vicious. Vicious women that can cut you out. They got kids by them. Hello? They can get them kids to team up on you too. Oh yeah, them kids will take you down, messing with their mama. So you better be happy your husband protecting you from them other wives and them children he got by them. Children will side with their mama. I learned that too. Oh yeah. Yeah, any other comments on that? Go ahead, y'all.
A person wants to know how to handle failure.
Okay. When you talk about failure in what, sweetheart? Yeah, what type of failure, Edie? Yeah, is the person still there? What type of failure? Failure in what? How to handle failure? This brother here or sister here? I see it. What type of failure? Talk to me. What did you fail in? Failure in life or failure in your fast? What type of failure? You know, I can tell you guys in general, Islam teaches us that when you fall, you get back up. When you fall, you get back up and brush yourself off and try it again. Because none of us are perfect. We were created to be tested. Sometimes we'll pass our tests. Sometimes we'll fail. But when you fail, I want you guys to understand failing is being human. None of us are angels. We're human beings. So sometimes we will fail. That's part of being human. If we didn't fail, Allah would erase us and he would create another creation that did fail. He tells us that. So if you fail at something, get up, brush yourself off. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Call upon Allah for help and then repent from your sins and keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Try again. You try again and again and again. You understand? A lot of people say they fail in their marriages because you had one bad relationship, because one person broke your heart, because one person showed you the wrong way to happiness in a relationship. You're going to give up on love, give up on relationships? No, you get up, brush yourself off and try again. Allah will send you something better. Try again and keep on trying. That's the difference between a believer and a non-believer. The believer looks at his failures, learns from them, and then keeps on trying. The believer never gives up. He never gives up on Allah. And then he never gives up on himself. That's why you have to love yourself, Muslims. Love you. And don't give up on you. How can you save your soul from the hellfire if you don't love it? You understand? I failed at a lot of things in life too. Oh yeah. I've had some failures, believe it or not. I had several failed marriages. Several failed marriages. Okay. I failed in school a few times, but I picked myself up and I ended up getting that degree, those 2 degrees. I failed on my job a few times, picked myself up and kept it moving. We all fail in life. But does that mean we stop trying? No. Keep trying, brother. Everybody understand that? Yeah. Any other questions there?
The next question is, a woman accepts that his right, but before marriage, she told him she's not a person who wants to be in a marriage with other wives. And if he has one, she will let him, but she wants a divorce. Is that okay?
You can tell a man that, but that's still his right. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I want you sisters to realize everything in Islam is a check and balance. Allah doesn't give all power to just one person. A man has the right to have 2, 3, or 4. But you have the right to say, I don't want to be a part of it. That's your choice. So if that's why the man ain't got to tell his wife too. That's also a reason why the man ain't got to tell the wife that he taking another. If he know she's going to react that way. If he knows she's going to talk crazy and act stupid and want to end the marriage and all that because of her emotions, he ain't got to tell her. That's why some brothers don't tell you, sisters, because they love you and they don't want to end their marriage with you. So they have the right to go and get somebody in a different state, a different city, if that's what they choose to do that you don't know nothing about. That's his prerogative. It shows that he loves you. He's sparing you from that. Okay? But if you don't want to be a part of it, yeah, you can get out the marriage. Divorce is good and clean. Unlike these weak Muslims on the internet who sit around letting Shaitan mess with them about their certainty of faith, divorce is lawful and good and clean. Everything that Allah made lawful is good and clean. And Allah says he likes and loves everything that he made lawful. He only hates the things he made haram. He says that right there in the Quran. I only hate the things that I made haram. So divorce is good and clean. If you don't want to be a part of it, just tell him I don't want to be a part of it. And just accept the consequences when he say, okay, you're divorced. Go on about your business. Go home to daddy. All right. That's the reality. I got to keep it real, sisters. I got to keep it real. Yeah. Exactly. Jealousy is deep. Yeah. All women have that in us, including me. I'm a strong woman, but I'm a jealous woman. I am I'm like Aisha. Seriously, I can be just as jealous as Aisha was. That's how jealous I am. It's probably best that I remain single too for that reason. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
The next question is, what should I do to not commit sins during Ramadan? And what advice do you have?
What can you do to not commit sins? This is all a matter of your faith. If you're still committing sins during Ramadan, that means that you're not taking Allah seriously. That means that you don't understand the importance of not sinning during Ramadan. Don't you guys know that any sin that you commit during this month brings about greater punishment than any other month of the year? Allah will punish you over 700 times worse during this month than any month of the year. You do not want to sit there and deliberately, intentionally commit sins during Ramadan. This is crazy. This is suicide. So if a person is doing that, then that means that person doesn't understand what his purpose in life is. That person doesn't understand what their relationship with Allah should be. So that shows that you need to change yourself. You need to change your lifestyle. You need to make learning your religion a priority. Like I tell you guys, you can do all the good deeds in the world, but if your aqidah, your belief system is not correct, nothing's going to be accepted. You can speak all the Arabic in the world. You can sing the Quran, beautiful. But if your belief system is not correct, Allah ain't accepting none of it. So to deliberately, intentionally disobey Allah, that's a sign that something is wrong with you, that you don't understand what la ilaha illallah means, that you don't fear Allah. Why do people sin? Because they don't fear Allah's punishment. So you need to work on developing your fear of Allah. One of the ways that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged the companions to develop their fear of Allah is to go look at a dead body. Maybe that'll put some fear in you. Go to a funeral home, look at a dead body, touch it, make your hand touch it. That'll put enough fear in you. If you truly believe in Allah, that'll ignite the fear of Allah in you, where you will stop disobeying him. You understand that? Or wash a dead body. Oh yeah, death. Whenever we think about death, whenever we come face to face with it, If you truly believe in Allah, that's going to ignite your fitra. That's going to awaken you and make you say, oh my God, this could be me in this coffin. This could be me laying here looking like this. This could be me. And that'll make you stop sinning if you believe in Allah. You understand? And Allah knows best. So go look at a dead body. Go to a funeral home. Look at a dead body. I used to do that when I was a kid. I would get out of school. Me and my friend, we would go to a funeral home and look at the dead bodies. She was Muslim too. Looking at the dead bodies didn't affect her. And I noticed that I was what? How old was I? I was 12 years old and she was 11. And I remember we would go to funeral homes and just go and look at the dead people in the casket. And it would scare me, but it didn't impact her. I used to say, doesn't this, you're not scared? She say, no, it's just a dead person. She's not Muslim today. She ended up apostating to a different religion. So that shows that she never had the fear of Allah in her heart. But I had it in me because I couldn't touch it. She could touch it and it didn't bother her. She would try to pull the person's eyes open. And I would tell her, don't do that. Don't do that. It didn't bother her, but it bothered me. Some people just don't fear Allah. Put it to the test. Go look at a dead body. See what impact that has on you. And Allah knows best. Next question. It's kind of scary, ain't it? Y'all ain't got no more questions on that. It's scary. Yeah, thinking about that dead body. Yeah, she would touch it. You know how they have you laying in the casket. She would try to open their eyes. Say, don't do that. Don't do that. Girl, look, yeah. Didn't bother her. I would be like, ooh. Sad. Okay, the sister here is asking me, what can I do, Sister Laila? Wait a minute, let me read this. Hold on. She said, ever since coming to your classes for Ramadan, my faith is grown. How can I keep it this way after Ramadan? Just keep coming because all my classes are like this all year round. Like I said, after Ramadan ends, I'm going to go back to diluting wala wa better. And also I'm going to be teaching the new book. By the way, please go to Athlete Online and get the new book entitled Prohibited Imitations, because I'm going to teach that book too after Ramadan. Okay, all my classes are Aqidah. They're designed to touch your heart, to ignite your fitra. So if you want to keep this spiritualness going, continue to come to these classes even after Ramadan. And also continue to do whatever good deeds you are doing after Ramadan too. Continue to perform the Taraweeh prayer. Okay, continue to fast do voluntary fast once a week or once or 3 times a month. You know, continue to be charitable. Continue to help those in need. Keep on with whatever good deeds you're doing now. You want to continue with them even after Ramadan ends. Everybody understand? And I'll be here. If Allah doesn't take my soul, inshallah, I'll be here to help guide you through every day with my classes, inshallah. All right. I think that's all the questions I see here from Trobo and everybody else. There's no more in the Zoom room, right?
No.
Okay, good. This was a good Q&A. This was a good Q&A because we talked about the Day of Judgment, the grave, the hellfire, paradise, and also the scrubs. Sisters, he ain't got a car. He ain't even got a driver's license. He ain't got a job. He ain't got a place to live. He ain't got nothing in the bank. And he goes missing in action on you too often. That's a sign that this ain't a good relationship. That's a sign that this brother can't bring nothing to the table. This is a sign that you need to tell him to go his way and you go yours. Beware of the scrubs. The masajids are filled with them. Beware of the scrub imam. Any man that's getting in your face telling you that marriage is 50% of your religion, what he's basically telling you is, I hate to say it, he wants to get in your pants. That's what he's basically saying. He wants to get in your pants. Because ain't no imam gonna tell no woman that. Especially a new shahada, he gonna tell you to learn how to pray and how to dress and how to fulfill your female duties. He's gonna hook you up with sisters that can teach you. Beware of the men that's looking to mooch off you. Beware of the men that's looking just for another roll in the hay. That's the Muslim scrub. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session of our Ask Sister Laila Live. I want to remind everybody, don't forget, tomorrow is Saturday. Have the children here at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because Dr. Ali will be doing the science of Hadith and the Quran. That begins at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. Put him on the big screen for the kids. And also tomorrow we have Dr. Asim. His Quran class will be at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he's going to be talking about the night of Qadr, the night of decree. And then you have my class at 6 and my class at 11. So we have a lot of classes for tomorrow to keep the whole family around that the television and glued to their computers to learn. And again, I want to thank the children and let them know I'm proud of them for their accomplishments this Ramadan. I want to thank the new shahadas. I'm so proud of you, Sandra. You know that girl. I'm proud of all the new shahadas for the sacrifices you've made and the growth you've made. And I want to congratulate all my regular students and regular attendees because all of us have grown, and may Allah accept from all of us. So I'm going to close out for tonight. Inshallah, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.